Hello, thanks for joining me. We have another frame control analysis with Russell Brand, but this one is very unique because this one focuses a lot on body language, social status, and some of the more attraction related aspects of frame control and status. And this is a lot of subcommunication. So we're going beyond just what the words are telling us into what the body language is saying. And this is something where you have to pay very close attention. I'm pointing out a lot of things that are strange. And these are things that if you haven't studied certain fields, maybe evolutionary psychology, maybe some of the dating success world and some of their ideas, you might not pick up on this. Or if you haven't studied body language, there's some things that you might not pick up on. But as soon as I point them out, you'll see just how strange and ridiculous this interview really is. It's just completely off the walls. But if you watch it from a different lens, you'd miss all of it. So this is very important stuff that you can apply in your own life. And guess what? Once I point it out, you're going to notice it everywhere. You're going to see these dynamics play out anytime someone of very high status is in a room, and you can observe the behavior of the people around them.
Joining us now, he's a really big deal. I know. I'm told this. I'm not very pop cultured. I'm sorry. Comedian, movie star, author, and host of the show Brand X, Russell Brand. This summer, he's embarking on his first ever worldwide comedy tour, The Messiah Complex. Katty Kay and Brian Shackman are here as well, and he already told Brian that he might want to disrobe. I'm just saying.
I just thought maybe I could loosen up a little, show a little more chest hair, and he said maybe I should do a little more.
I only think Russell can do that. You look fantastic.
Okay, so here the male host makes an attempt at humor, but it falls flat. He's immediately shut down hard by the woman in the blue while she brings the attention back to Russell.
Fantastic.
That is a very kind compliment. You also look beautiful. Brian, you are free to wear whatever you want. This is one of your freedoms that is afforded to you.
I appreciate that.
So here he tells Brian that he's free to wear whatever he wants. He delivers this line with a warm smile, which is good. It doesn't seem like a put down or bullying here, but it certainly establishes him as the authority to almost grant Brian the freedom to dress as he wants. So even if it is a silly little line and a joke, social hierarchies are often acknowledged or spoken to with humor. So think about that.
Silver boots. The boots are
I want to see them. Come on. Put them on the table.
Kinky boots time.
Wow.
There are some boots.
Those are nice. Put your feet up. Relax.
I wouldn't do that. I don't want to disrespect your program.
Okay, no.
You did ask to see
No,
the
I did,
boots.
and I
You're
liked
a fellow English woman, so
And
I
we
felt
do.
obliged.
We talked about kinky boots recently.
Yes.
So here he comments that she's a fellow English woman. So he's already building commonalities with the hosts. And so if you picture this as a group of people at a table, he's very much pulling them in. So he's not really ignoring anyone. Kind of ignores Brian a little bit later. But he's building that commonality by pointing out something that's unique that they share. Now, if this is overdone, then it looks like you're desperately trying to get someone's approval. Like, hey, you breathe air and I breathe air too. Well, a unique accent's a pretty good thing to point out as being something that's a commonality or you come from the same area. So this is done quickly without him really sticking to the compliment for even a moment. He moves right on, which is how to deliver most compliments. And he also throws his boots on the table. So he's showing a disregard for the formality of the setting, and he seeks to own the setting he is in and make everyone feel great while doing it. That's the key point. You got to make people feel great when you're doing it. If you're pushing the boundaries, it has to be done in a charming way or a way that people can enjoy. But then he comments on his own disregard for the table, showing that he does have some understanding of how the interviews are supposed to go. So there is power in knowing the expectations of the formal setting that you find yourself in, and you gain attention by knowing how to push against those expectations. So be careful with this last tip, though, when you do apply pressure against the formal setting that you find yourself in.
It's a fantastic show. You have to go. Okay, Russell. Ooh,
Sorry about that. I
That's
didn't
all
realize
right.
it was just like
Disrespected the table.
The table
giant Jenga. It's like you're...
Again, we hear from Brian real quick, trying to reinsert himself into the conversation, but he commands no attention. While Russell is completely taking over the formal setting, Brian has pressure to conform to the formal setting. So, since he works there and has a history of behaving in a professional way, if Brian was 4 beers deep and they were at a bar, he may have given himself enough permission to cut loose a little bit more. But being that he's in his work setting, he's having a lot of pressure from the environment he finds himself in and the formal setting.
The desk is a puzzle.
It is. I'm sorry about that.
What is
Can
the
I help
solution?
you? I think we could try to pull it back in. So,
There you go, love. Be careful because that's a low-cut dress.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm only flesh and blood. I've got instincts.
Oh, okay. Well,
Tell me what you need to know.
I'm just going to have...
Okay, so Brian, let's see if I can find the exact
low-cut
moment.
dress.
sorry. Okay.
I'm only flesh and blood. I've got instincts.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right there, you see Brian fiddling with his tie. He's kind of smiling there. He seems like he's getting a kick out of the situation, but he might be a little uncomfortable. But he's uncomfortably fidgeting with his tie. She starts to play with her hair at the comment. So, as far as flirting goes, this was a bold statement for this setting. He says, I'm only flesh and blood. And it works because it was almost abstract enough to be almost poetic. Specifics can be very unsexy when it comes to flirting. He says he has instincts, but he elaborates no further. He's only flesh and blood. And this hit well because he already had influence in the situation. She was falling over herself to fix his table, and she was unconsciously apologizing for the table. So, which makes absolutely no sense. He clearly is dictating this interaction. So he's able to get away with more. So if you think about it, it doesn't always matter what you say. There's a lot of other factors that make the context for whether or not a certain comment will land well or not, whether it will be well received or not. So he's clearly dominant in the interaction, but imagine if Brian made a similar comment without the influence that Russell has here. Not only would it have been unprofessional, but even just socially that comment wouldn't have landed. It would have fallen flat, or it would have been seen as gross rather than charming, even if he had spoken vaguely as Russell did. So he probably could have said the exact same thing and delivered it in the exact same way, but lacking that social context there would have made it fall flat. So if you've ever tried to deliver a flirty line and you see someone just, look like they're wanting to run away or something, just keep in mind that there are more factors than just what you say and even how you say it. Sometimes the context that you find yourself in when you deliver that line is important, and you need to factor that in. So the thing about flirting is when you introduce sexual innuendo into your flirting, you're always walking a razor's edge between charming and creepy, so it's better to err or better to lean on the side of being a little more cautious, especially as you're learning social calibration, or at the very, very least, don't, practice techniques in a setting that would, I guess, be a problem for you later. You want to be respectful of people, so better to err on the side of caution, I suppose, to avoid, sort of dropping the ball on any one comment.
Well,
Tell me what you need to know.
I'm just going to have a drink here. Patty K, question.
Messiah complex. That's the name of your tour?
Yes.
Do you have one?
No. It's a mental illness.
Right. And you don't have that either?
I hope that I'm here as a fully qualified professional gentleman.
None of us are
Free from mental illness.
free from it.
None of you. This is a hotbed of neurosis and
That's
psychosis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my word, I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah,
But Joe is not here, so there are no messiahs.
that's true. Although we actually bring more mental illness to the table than we admit, at least
That's
on this side here, for sure.
On this side.
So tell me about the tour. You're starting in Abu Dhabi? Is that where it began?
Yeah, it's in a lot of Middle Eastern nations and South Africa and all across Europe, and of course in your wonderful country and in our country. I'm very, it's a really good tour. I'm talking about Malcolm X, Che Guevara, Gandhi, and Jesus Christ, and how these figures are significant culturally, and how icons are appropriated and used to designate consciousness and meaning, particularly posthumously.
And what brings all those people together?
They're all people that died for a cause. They're all people whose icons are used to designate meaning, perhaps not in the manner in which they intended.
I kind of like that. That sounds dead serious, though.
Yeah,
It's funny when you do it as a
It's
joke.
funny.
I don't take it seriously. I just want to do it on stage.
Can't we get like, 30 seconds now?
Well, not really, love. I mean,
Gandhi,
this is
go.
our work. Gandhi, go.
Gandhi, go.
I hope that's not your message to Gandhi and the people of India.
No, it's funny though because I travel a lot. And
All these people are at work, are they?
yeah, they're working.
They're just
Okay, so Brian attempts to interject here again, but is shut down. So it's hard to say if this is intentional on the part of Russell or if Russell genuinely just pays Brian no mind. So here he's showing a disregard for the interview format, and he is demonstrating the ability to amuse himself by commenting on the people in the background. His influence is completely secured at the table, so maybe he wants to move on to the rest of the room to secure even more command over his environment. Now, that could be done pathologically, or it could be done strategically, or it could be done as just a performance as a way to make the interview more fun. Kind of interesting to speculate about.
work.
Well, no,
Work more quietly.
they're Facebooking, actually.
What are they doing?
Facebooking.
They're Facebooking.
Yeah.
Shopping.
I bet they can't look at pornography. I bet it's blocked on their website, huh?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty focused. But they're allowed to look at, if they wanted to, they can tweet, they can Facebook.
Yeah?
They have to. That's part of
They're
their
probably
job.
tweeting right now.
They're tweeting themselves senseless back there.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's to create the atmosphere of we're a hotbed of
It's
news.
a working news. Yeah.
They're actually actors.
They're all fully qualified actors.
Yeah.
They're all just now looking for acting work.
So people, I mean, you have a pretty broad range here. I'm going to ask a serious question. Can I
Yeah.
try? I'll try.
Try. It's never
Okay,
going to
I'll try.
Go ahead.
Everyone asks, what do you like better, TV, movies, or stand-up? But which one's more difficult? I mean, going on stage, I think, is probably pretty tough. A movie can be boring because you shoot a thing 100 times. TV is what it is.
There are challenges in all of those different disciplines. The thing I enjoy most is stand-up comedy because you're direct with your audience. You can't be misinterpreted. People can't get confused. You know what happens if you work in media? People like to change the information so that it suits a particular agenda. If you're in a room with people, then what you're saying is clear. If you say something that people are confused about, you can explain it to them then. If you say something as a joke, people can't pretend that you're saying it seriously. So I like having direct communication with people because I believe people are very, very intelligent, but the information gets manipulated a lot and people like to cause, like, fake stirs and stuff.
You know, funny, the accent, when I see him in person, it's totally fine. Forgetting Sarah Marshall or the TV show, it's fine. But on satellite radio in the car, I can't understand a single joke you say.
You can't understand it.
Can you
I can't.
understand me?
Yes, but no, I'm telling you, when I'm driving in the car and everyone's laughing.
So here Brian says he is thinking, okay, so what's happening here is he's thinking of anything to get back into the conversation, and he picks to make fun of Russell's accent. And he didn't offer Russell any question or open-ended phrase to allow for a back and forth. So Russell playfully builds on his inability to focus here in a moment, and, well, you'll see how that plays out.
Laughing in the audience of the radio, I'm like, I have no idea what he just
It's
said.
best you focus on your driving, Brian. You're a man, you don't want to be distracted by humour. You might crash into
Right,
a
okay.
pedestrian.
So it's a good thing.
I think it's probably for the best.
So Brian gets flack from the woman to his left instantly for his comment. And this is a sign of influence. When you have people that are stepping up immediately to shut you down because you said the wrong thing, it's likely that the person they're defending has influence, either a connection through friendship or a respect of their high social status. So that's something to watch out for. When you see people in the environment catering to one person or defending that person that they're defending has a lot of influence in the situation. And you notice that both women in this interview have shut Brian down already, so not Brian's day today.
I think I'm just this is my first
Brand experience?
brand, yeah. I think it's not listening to him. It's experience. It's just sort of taking it all in.
You are talking about me as if I'm not here
transfixed.
and as if I'm an extraterrestrial. You know I'm from a country
You're a
that's
kind of
near
shop
to you.
window dummy. We're just sort of admiring the whole, it's the whole thing, isn't
Well,
it?
thank you for your
like a
casual
sculpture.
objectification.
It's an experience.
I'm glad that it is positive for
It's
you.
very positive, absolutely. Any other questions? Kathy? I'm a little nervous.
You've become nervous.
Okay.
Why are you nervous?
Willie, no, I'm
You're a powerful woman. You've got a lovely job. What seems to be the trouble?
I don't know.
You've got hair like Princess Diana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I've never
When she was alive,
here's
wasn't being offensive.
Here's a little subtext.
Yes.
I'm petrified of her, and you
Are
have
you?
her on her heels.
And she's just moved down the
I
other table.
absolutely love this. Keep
So here Brian says he's petrified of the woman in the blue dress. I'm not sure why, but if you look back earlier when he asked permission to ask Russell a serious question, he looked to her for approval. He asked her if he could ask a serious question. Very interesting.
Hey,
What seems to be the trouble, love?
No, I'm good.
Well, now we're going to do a bit of therapy. Would you do therapy with Willy Brandt?
With who?
Willy Brandt. Would you do therapy with him?
I don't
Because
think.
that's where he's heading.
Okay, I'm all right.
You shouldn't say he when a person is present. You should refer to the person by their name. That's basic good manners.
That is where Willy is heading.
Who is Willie?
I don't know. Okay, Russell Brand.
Is this what you all do for a living?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm here to.
Professional.
Okay, well let me help you. I'm here to promote a tour called Messiah Complex. It's here for the people of America. I want the people of America to come and see me do stand-up. Go to russellbrand.tv where you can purchase tickets to see me. These people, I'm sure, are typically very, very good at their job. What is it? You're conveying news to the people of America.
Yes.
People of America, we're going to be okay. Everything's all right. These are your trusted anchors.
Leaning.
Is that a news link? Here's your papers. I'll shuffle them for you.
Shuffle. Look.
Give us that.
That's good. Pen. You need a pen.
Okay, coming up later. Thank you very much,
Absolutely,
Kat. Okay, we're going to be talking about the situation with Edward Snowden. This whistleblower, is it good what he's done for America, or are our secrets being jeopardised by his intentions? We're going to be talking about that. Also, Bradley Manning. Is Bradley Manning an American hero, or is he compromising the safety of American troops? We care about your views here on Morning Joe. We'll be talking about those later. Here with me are Brian and Kat. Brian, nice tie. What do you think about Edward Snowden? What do you think about the situation with Snowden? Have you got anything to hide? Should we be concerned about the revelations that are occurring?
I don't know what's wrong with you. I understand everything he said.
it's because you look
Bringing it back up again. What Brian said.
looking at him. When you don't see him and you don't see the lips
I
moving, it's
understand the
fine.
whole thing.
Stop saying he. I'm present. Russell. What's wrong with your manners?
I understand everything he said.
It's because you're looking at
No.
him. When you
Let's see if I can pause it right at the right
Have you
time.
got anything to hide? Should we be concerned about the revelations that are occurring?
I don't know what's wrong with you. I understand everything he said.
it's because you're looking.
Well, you see it where he's got his jaw open and he's sitting there going, no, that's not what I meant. Yeah, he's defending himself. You want to watch that. A whole lot of defense of yourself and your ideas is conveying low status to the people around you. Obviously, apologize when you're in the wrong, but also be aware that if you're too supplicating or changing your behavior too much to show people that you meant something else or they took your ideas wrong, it's not really the strongest place to come from. There are other ways to deal with it, but that's not usually it.
At him. When you don't see him and you don't see the lips
I
moving, it's
understand the
fine.
whole thing.
Stop saying he. I'm present. Russell. What's wrong with your manners?
You're good
Be
at that.
polite.
All right, I'm coming in tomorrow with a big necklace and I'm opening it.
Look beyond the superficial. That's the
Okay, watch this. So Brian brings back the joke that already failed about the open chest on his shirt, that he's going to come back with an open chest, and the woman in orange, I think her name is Kat, immediately hand waves him away and says, "No, Brian." So again, you have more signs of influence. So watch this.
You're good
Be
at that.
polite.
All right, I'm coming in tomorrow with a big necklace and I'm opening it.
Look beyond the superficial. That's the problem with current affairs. You forget about what's important. You allow the agenda to be decided by superficial information. What am I saying? What am I talking about? Don't think about what I'm wearing. These things are redundant.
I'm distracted.
Superficial.
Okay.
Don't be distracted. What do you think that gesture means, the way you're touching that bottle? What does that indicate? What is that? What's the subtext of that?
We gotta go to break.
You need to lose that ring, Mika, because it don't mean nothing to you. She's grasping for the shaft. She's a shaft grasper.
Russell, that was free, but it was
Russell.
worth the money.
That was
We'll
great.
buy tickets.
That was
Absolutely.
great. We don't need to see the tour. That
I
was
got it
fabulous.
now. Russell Brand.
Messiah complex.
Thank you. The tour Messiah complex.
Don't be nervous.
Starts in August in Abu Dhabi, right?
You're ovulating.
So that was magnificent. I really enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the content. And if there's one important takeaway, it's to know that there's so much subtext happening in any social interaction, and that if you train yourself to observe these situations and these settings, you can feel a strong sense of confidence because you will know everything that's happening in the room. You'll know everything that's happening at the business meeting, at the social interaction. And that's why I really value this skill set of being able to read people as well as being able to set frames and jump in and out of frames as needed. So if you find this content valuable, if you like this kind of content, please like the video and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.